kind of take a few minutes, and since you're already sitting down, we'll stretch out together today after we get done talking about this. And I always spell it out the way it is here, or not spell it out, but I always cut and paste from the dictionary online so that, you know, you can just see the word the way it would appear in a dictionary. Because when we see these pillars, each one of these words that you see in these character lessons, the reason I use the definition that comes from a dictionary is because I want these things to define who you are. So responsibility is the fourth pillar. Anybody remember what the last one was we talked about the other day? By the way, I would encourage you to put these in a notebook or some folder or something at home and keep them. All right? Not because it'll make me feel good, but because I think you need to be thinking about these things. And on Wednesday, we went over another word. Do you remember what the word was? No, it wasn't integrity. Huh? Good, yeah, it was preparation. Preparation. And we talked about how important that is. And responsibility goes hand in hand with preparation. But the definition there says trustworthiness, dependability, taking care of the things you control or affect. And then I ask you a question. This is where the writing comes in, so you guys can share pens. It says, can you list 5 good things and 5 bad things for which you take responsibility? You can take responsibility for things that have already happened. You can say, okay, that was my fault, like something in the past, and you can accept blame or credit for something that's happened. But another way of taking responsibility could be just saying, you know what, out of all the things that I have under my control, these are the things that are in my control. Like you can say, I control how I respond to teachers in the classroom. You can say, I control how much water I intake in a day to make sure I'm hydrated for practice. Or how much protein I take in to make sure I'm able to gain weight. Because if you don't take in enough protein when you eat, you're not going to gain any muscle. You're just going to keep tearing your muscles apart. You're going to undereat, and you're going to go in the gym and work out and tear yourself up. So you can take responsibility for any number of things, but I want you to take a second while I'm talking and just think of different things. And you don't have a lot of space to write, so just maybe one word, things that you're responsible for. It could be family. It could be you're responsible for your sister or your brother because you have to take care of them in the evening. That would be a good thing. A bad thing you're responsible for could be something you've done. It could be a criminal act. It could be something that got you suspended. It could be what? I looked at everybody, but if that's you, you know, I'll stand by you if you want to put you on flag. Now I don't know what you've done, JJ. I don't know what you've done. Only you know. So you know, and this is not something I don't want to see it. I don't want you to show anybody what you've written. I just want you to. This is kind of taking a step toward responsibility. So. Think about that and write some things down. There's a quotation at the bottom that says, a man may fall many times, but he won't be a failure until he says someone pushed him. All right? So you can fail at something. Like I really think the Cleveland Cavaliers failed. I really do. In a lot of different ways. But as long as they don't go pointing the finger saying it was his fault, it was Coach Brown's fault, it was my mom's fault for giving birth to me, you know. As long as they don't do that, they can figure out a way to rebuild come back strong next year, I suppose. A man may fall many times, but he won't be a failure until he says someone pushed him. So you can't go through life blaming. You must take responsibility for everything you do, you know, every place you end up. Responsibility, if there were no responsible people on the planet, and Mark, make sure you get this stuff. It's already over on the table. Can you imagine what would happen? Water would be contaminated. Babies wouldn't have parents. Lawbreakers would never be punished. Farmers wouldn't grow food for us to eat, etc. Responsibility upholds our world, and without it, humankind as we know it couldn't exist. So you've been given a great gift of control over certain things. That control can be used to help others or destroy them. The choice is yours. The questions below that say, what responsibilities do you have when it comes to your spiritual health, your family, your sport, and your education? I don't want you to answer those questions here right now. I want you to focus on the list, good and bad list above it. But these are questions for you to answer later. The second question says, have you been ignoring any of those responsibilities? And if so, why? If not, why not? All right? So I want you to keep that in mind while we work out today. Our focus is the dribble drive. We'll be working on executing the dribble drive effectively in traffic, splitting defenders, getting to the hole without losing the ball, finishing after we beat guys off the dribble, things like that. We'll go over those concepts. But I want you to be thinking about responsibility as a whole because you guys are young men and you need to be thinking about that. I really believe, and this is going to sound chauvinistic, I I think the world rises and falls with men. And the reason I say that is because if you name a problem, and I'll point to a man who's the source of it. I promise you that. Name any problem. War, men. Right? Teenage pregnancy, men. It involves women, but at the end of the day, and we have lots of words for it. Back in me and Coach's day, you know, when you talk to a girl and you had the gift of gab, and we called it a lot of things, right, Coach? We called it drag, we called it spit game, whatever. But your ability to manipulate women, that's a guy thing. And guys are responsible for deceiving women and all that stuff. So you name just about any problem in the world, and I'll put a man at the source. So if we have better men, I believe we have a better world. I don't think men are better than women. I'm just saying responsibility is a huge part of why the world is what it is, for good and for bad. And a lot of it for bad. So I want you guys to be better men. So keep thinking. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I'm done talking to you for now. We're going to stretch out about, it's 9:18. We're going to start stretching. I want to get you a thorough stretch today at 9:20. So 2 minutes to continue that list. All right? Think about what goes in those columns. All right? And we'll reconvene in 2 minutes. Let's get ready to work.